Yo, Bracy Skills back with a special Spurs video. It's been a while since I've done a Spurs video, but you know, it's a lot of stuff going on, obviously, with the draft and whatnot, man. I'm doing my little morning walks. Health is wealth. Shout out to everybody that's been, you know, showing support, subscribing to the channel. But let's jump right into it, man. Draft night was last night. We got Stephon Castle. And, you know, they drafted Rob Dillingham, and then they traded him, which was, you know, a lot of controversy behind that. But, you know, what people got to understand about the draft, man, us as fans, when we're watching it, it looks like we drafted him and then we traded him, right? But you guys got to realize, like, these deals, some of these trades are already being worked on before it hits the public. So that deal could have been done like right when the Spurs was on the clock, which I think that's really what happened. And the Spurs basically drafted for Minnesota. That's basically what I believe happened. I do believe Minnesota told the Spurs who to pick because they already had a trade in place. But obviously the fans are going crazy talking about how, you know, the Spurs traded Rob for a sixth grader, all these memes, these crazy memes, right? And I ain't gonna lie, like, you know, when it hit the fan, like, you know, of course I found out like everybody else. So I was a little excited. Rob is like a fan favorite in this draft. He's like one of the most popular names in this draft. He's a really good player. But I honestly did not think the Spurs were going to take him coming into the draft. I kind of figured we would go after Castle unless something weird would have happened at the 1 and 2 spot. But I think everybody kind of knew we were looking at Castle. Number 8 was the one that was the most intriguing. And, you know, I liked Devin Carter. He ended up going to the Kings. But the guy that they, you know, that I was hearing that the Spurs were going to, you know, really consider drafting was the one that went to Charlotte. I can't ever pronounce his name. It was the Sahun kid. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But that's who I was hearing the Spurs were going to take at 8. And I think once the Hornets traded up to get him, I think the Spurs were like, you know what, let's trade this pick. We'll get 2 more tradable assets for Wemby. Now, a lot of Spurs fans are criticizing the Spurs for this trade. And I hear you. Rob, like I said, he's a very popular name. I hear you. I know everybody's saying, why do we got to wait to 2031? Wemby's going to force a trade because the Spurs are going to run it back with the same team. Hear me out, y'all. Brian Wright is playing chess, bro. And if you are really paying attention to what he's doing, you're going to understand why he's playing chess. You have to realize this, bro. There are a lot of superstars that are young. I'm going to just throw names out, right? You got guys like De'Aaron Fox. You got guys like Devin Booker. You got guys like Giannis. You got guys like, obviously, Trae Young, Darius Garland. I'm not saying that all these guys won out. I know we've heard about Garland and Trae Young, but I'm naming these names because all of their situations, they're all in situations where if their team, excuse me, I think my headphones went out. Sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties with my headphones. But anyways, they're all in situations where, say, for example, let's look at the Bucks. If the Bucks do not win a championship within the next, I'm going to say 2 years, after making a trade for Damian Lillard and seeing Drew Holiday have success in Boston, I can see a situation where Giannis may want out. If the Sacramento Kings still are struggling to get into the playoffs and they don't advance and improve their roster, I can see De'Aaron Fox wanting out. If the Suns go backwards and it doesn't work out with Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Beal, I can see Devin Booker wanting out. I can just keep going down the line. Joel Embiid in Philly. If Philly doesn't, you know, if Philly doesn't hit the mark, I know Embiid got to stay healthy. But I can see him wanting out if Philly don't improve. And I'm not saying that we should go after Joel Embiid or go after Devin Booker. I'm just saying there are a lot of stars that are in situations right now that if they don't start winning, things could change where they're at. Even Anthony Edwards. I know it's hard to look at it like that. They just made it to the conference finals. Anthony Edwards is 22 years old. Yes, he's locked and signed through 2029. I get it. I'm not saying the Spurs got to wait till 2029 to get Anthony Edwards or anything like that. Or he may stay. We may not have a chance. All I'm saying is the more tradable assets San Antonio has, they can make a move to get any one of these stars whenever they choose to because they have the picks to trade. We just saw the Knicks trade 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. So how many first-round picks do you think it's going to take to get a Darius Garland? How many first-round picks you think it's going to take to get Giannis if he's unhappy in Milwaukee? How many first-round picks you think it's going to take to get De'Aaron Fox if the Kings don't turn their situation around and start improving? Fox did not sign an extension. I don't know if anybody's seen that. You know, I'm in NorCal, so I'll be keeping up with, obviously, you know, the NorCal stuff. But Fox has not signed an extension, and they said he is not going to sign an extension until he sees what the future of this Kings roster is going to look like, basically seeing if they're going to improve. I'm not saying the Spurs are going to get De'Aaron Fox. I'm not saying the Spurs are going to go get Giannis. All I'm saying is the more tradable assets we have, the better our chances are of getting a real legit star that can actually put us in the hunt to really contend for a championship. So why are we getting upset that we didn't keep the 8th pick? Like, on one end, I hear fans say, oh, well, we need to trade for a star. Okay, well, in order to do that, you have to have tradable assets. You're not going to trade and go get Darius Garland for Keldon Johnson and Malachi Branham. You're going to have to throw probably 6+ first-rounders in there. Okay? Now, another thing I'm going to touch up on is how people are putting this emphasis on the year of that pick. Like, oh, man, you know, the Spurs traded Rob Dillingham for a 6th grader. They can't do nothing with that 2031 pick. Those guys are in the 6th grade, right? Which is, I mean, it's true, right? But you got to remember, like, if a franchise asks for 7 first-round picks for a star player, how long do you think those picks are going to stretch out for as far as the year? On average, each team gets 1 first-round pick per year, unless you got somebody else's pick somewhere along the line. Like, you know, we had the Hornets pick this year. Unless you have somebody else's pick, you only get 1 first-round pick per year. So if a team says, I want 7 first-round picks for, if the Bucks say, I want 7 first-round picks for Giannis, how long do you think those first-round picks are going to stretch out for as far as the year? I guarantee you it stretch out 5-6 years. So I think everybody needs to relax. Like, we got Castle. That was a major thing, was getting Castle is huge for us. Castle, some people think he might be the best player in this draft. I mean, you know, we don't know, time will tell, but say Castle ended up being the best player in this draft. We got back-to-back years where we got the best player in each draft. Everybody needs to chill and relax. I know Rob is popular, but I actually think if we would have drafted Rob and kept Rob, say if that happened, like a lot of fans are saying they would rather see happen, if Rob would have stayed, I think it would have taken us a lot longer to rebuild this thing. Why? Because now you got to pay Rob lottery pick money, which we got cap space to do, but we still got to pay him lottery pick money, and you're basically locking into him. You're locking into Rob. I don't see a situation where Rob and Castle's going to work playing together. Like, we were one of the worst defensive teams in the league last year. Rob is not that great defensively. I actually, not to criticize Rob, I'm just telling you, I watched college basketball. A lot of his defensive mistakes cost Kentucky the game last year, if you really paid attention. So if we need defense, we get Castle, who's one of the best defenders, if not the best defender in this draft. You get Castle to put with Wemby. You already got Sohan, who's pretty good, pretty elite on defense, right? Why are we acting like we lost in the draft because we traded the 8th pick for 2 future tradable assets? I'm not even going to say first rounders. 2 future tradable assets is what we got. 2 more. We have 15 first-round picks within the next 7 years. Do I think the Spurs are going to use all 15 picks? No. I don't even think the salary cap is going to allow us to keep all 15 picks. But based on what I said at the beginning of this conversation, if somebody's unhappy and we really think whoever we decide to trade for is going to put us over the top, we have the pieces to trade and go get any star in the league that wants out. That makes sense for us. I think we won last night. We got a cornerstone piece next to Wemby, and we got 2 more tradable assets, and we still have 2 second-round picks today. Let's relax. Let's relax. It's going to take time. We're not the Lakers. We're not going to trade all our first-round picks for a bunch of 30-year-olds. Okay? We're not the LA Lakers. They're going to build this thing the right way. They're going to develop the kids. And for whatever it's worth, some may not think it's worth nothing. I actually love the way our Spurs finished the year last year. They started to figure it out at the end. I'm not saying that that's going to mean that we going to win a championship next year or anything like that. But if you really were a loyal fan and you paid attention to how the Spurs finished the year last year, you saw a lot of growth in everyone's game. So get the right piece, which you got, Castle. Gets you 2 more tradable assets so that when we feel the need to make a move, it could be this summer, it could be next summer. Like, I would love to see Trae Young in a Spurs uniform, but if we don't feel Trae Young is the piece to get us over the hump because we think we can go get Giannis in 2 years or De'Aaron Fox in a year or 2, I ain't against that. We got the picks to do it. So, you know, I had to do a quick video, man, because I'm Spurs Nation is kind of divided right now and I know that, you know, it was tough seeing that with Wright being traded, but I'm just here to tell everybody, just relax, man. Just relax. I think Brian is doing an excellent job. I know he's getting criticized a lot, but I think he's really playing chess with this, man. He has the league in his palms right now. Any superstar that he feels is going to put us over the top, that wants out of their situation, we can literally give a team exactly what they want. That is a great position to be in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We out.